Alright, here we go. The world of Seneca and natural questions. 12.4 of Book 5. It's credible that the same thing happens also in storms, as they are brief, as long as they are singular or they are one at a time, or there's one of them only. Vire, but ubi when they circumvere their vires, when they join their strengths, and from many parts of the sky, the spirit is elysus, it's pushed or something. This spirit or air can tool itself. I guess eodem is to the same place. All these, they come from many places and combine. And it happens to them, to these clouds and etc. and storms, that they gather their impetus, their strength, and more their ability to linger. 12.5. Ergo, therefore then, it facet, something happens in the singular. Resoluta noobs. That's so noobs can be singular or plural, but we know it's singular. Clouds that have dissolved, you might want to say, make a ventum, a wind, which in many ways, pluribus modus, there are that it can dissolve or dissipate. Non numquam. Sometimes the spirit or the air, or the force of the air, breaks its conglomeration, it's amassing together. Non numquam. Sometimes the wrestling of these shut up air, the air that's included or blocked in, and it's striving to make an exit. So sometimes the air can be trying to escape from a cloud. Non numquam. Sometimes the heat, which we've got moto now, or sometimes the sun's making this heat, and other times it's by its oratio, which comes from a ram, the way rams butt heads with their horns, etc. Of these vagrant wandering around bits of air, and atratus means worn down, wearing down of the bodies interse amongst themselves. So he seems to think that heat can be caused by the sun, which it can be, but also by the clouds beating each other. He thinks it makes a heat. 13.1. Hoc loco. In this place, if it seems to you that it is able to be asked, why do turbines happen, or whirlwinds, or what's that thing in the Wizard of Oz, like a big tornado or something? They're accustomed to happen in rivers, fluminibus's, as quem dia. For as long as they are without an impediment, these waters are ferunted, they're carried along. And simple and rectum or direct is the journey or path for them. But when they incur into some rock, promenading to the side of the riverbank, that's neuter, so that's a neuter present participle. They retorquida, they twist back, and the waters, without an exit, flectant, they bend a circle. So that's how you get whirlpools in water. Thus, so it is that I guess clouds, they circumlated on themselves, they swirl around on themselves, and they absorbed, and they efficiant, they make a verticum, a vortex or something. 13.2. Thus the ventus, the wind, as long as nothing obstructs it, nothing blocks it, it funds out, pours out its vires, its strength. When it's repercussed, when it's bounced back from some promontory, some thing that juts out, or coming together of places, it's collected into a devexum canal. D usually means away or down, and tenuous, which means thin. So when water comes down to a thin area, or there's joining places, it's collected. Sapius, rather often, it volutes into itself, it rolls into itself, and similar to these things, which we were talking about, which make the vertices in water, or the whirlpools in water, then the clouds are converted in the same manner. 13.3. Hic ventus. This wind, circumactus, actus usually means driven, circum means around, and ambient, it's wandering, usually it's got a circular fashion to it, and wandering about the same locum, the same places, coinciding, stirring up a turbine by its very own vortices, axathe, doesn't really mean much, which, if they're rather pugnacious, this wind, and for a rather a fair while, it's voluting or revolving or something, it inflames into what the Greeks what the Greeks call a prestera. This is a fiery turbine. Apparently the Loeb says Lucretius and Pliny or someone mentioned it. In nearly all of the periculas, that's near the plural, nearly all the dangers of the wind bursting out are produced from nubibuses, clouds, in which or by which the armamenta, the tackle of the ship, all the things on the deck, the way they are rapianted, they're seized, and all the ships are talented, they're raised up in high. So I guess ships can go up in the air, they have to be a pretty strong wind. But anyway, 13.4, etiam nunc, even now. You can also say still, even now or still. Certain winds generate from themselves diverse things or different ways, and the impulses or the pushing in the air also goes into other parts. So a wind will be going some direction, but it's generated force goes in another direction or other directions, which in themselves, when they incline or when they're leaning or something, they disperse, they go in different directions. So the wind and the water droplets, and it looks like when they're going one direction they can go another direction. This also, I will say, which has occurred to me, just as how, or in the same way as stilicides, these are the water droplets themselves, things that distill or drop. Although already they're inclining themselves and they're labanting, they're slipping or dripping, nevertheless they do not yet have made their breakout from the cloud. They haven't actually lapsed out or fell out yet. But when plura, so when lots of these drops, they coiccere, they co meaning come together, and the turbine, the spinning around, gives it strengths, then they are said to flow away and ire, to flow away and to go. Thus, quem dia, as long as these are light motions of the air being agitated in many places, it is not yet a ventus est. So it's not yet a wind. So again, he's saying that clouds are what's causing the wind, and this is why. Daily Dictionary, etiam nunc, even now, still or yet. And etiam tunc and etiam num or something, alternates. Then this begins to be. So this is when wind begins to be. So not yet was there wind, but then it happens when all misquit themselves, they all mix together, and into one impetus, into one force, they contour themselves. They mix together and they come into one force. The limit or way that separates the spirit from the wind. Okay, so what's separating? So this is the degree to which all this is happening separates the air. For the more vehement spiritus, or breath or blowing or air, this is called the wind. And in turn, the spirit, which is lenita, a bit softer, is just flowing air.